Alright guys, welcome back to episode 2 of Mobility Mondays. Today I thought we'd run through one of the most common things I see in everyday people, and that is lower back stiffness and tightness. So I've picked 3 of my favourite drills. I do this myself, especially if I find that I'm sitting down a lot or I'm behind the computer a lot, doing lots of admin type stuff. I found these exercises to be my go-to that relieve that uncomfortable sort of stiffness that you can feel in and around your lower back. Now, I do want to preface this and say that I am not a physiotherapist, but I am a coach, personal trainer, and I've had the pleasure of coaching hundreds of people by now. And one thing that I go into with every single client is mobility drills that we can do to make us move a little bit more. So let's get into it. And the good thing about these 3 drills, again, most mobility exercises you can do in the house. So the name of the first mobility drill is called the cat-cow. So we're going to take our hands, put them in front of our chest, and all we're going to do is hunch the back, thrust the hips under, and then stick the bum out, but also lift our head or our chin up as much as we can, hunching over, and sort of repeating this cycle, just getting a bit of movement in and around the spine. When I've done this with clients in the past, I actually find that quite a lot of people really struggle with flexing their spine just because their back is so stiff. So work within a range of motion that you have control over. As always, don't push through any excruciating pain, but try and think about what you're doing, not just mindlessly moving through the exercise. And you'll find that after you do a couple of reps, you'll be able to get more and more movement in and around that lower back. Now, if you find that one to be quite easy, another thing you can do is try and pivot the hips. So not just, what did I say? I said cat-cow or cat-camel. But basically you're trying to get hunching your back over, sticking your bum out. So try to get the spine to move, because the spine isn't supposed to just stay in this locked, stiff position. And if you work in an office environment, that's most likely where you're spending the majority of your time. Lifestyle in this day and age, most jobs require us to sit down for longer periods of time, and with the age of technology, Netflix, all these different things, we go from that environment straight to the sofa, chilling on the couch, watching TV. So the less we move, the stiffer we get. So if you want to add this in as a wee bonus, we're going to hunch, tucking the chin, lifting the chin up, sticking the bum out. And then once you've done a couple of them, kind of move and wiggle the hips from kind of side to side. So it's like you're trying to bend your spine, you're trying to crunch down your shoulders as well. And again, as always with mobility drills, do as many as you like. I would recommend getting upwards of 10 repetitions or whatever you want to call them. The great thing about mobility, as I said on the last video, you really can't overdo it. So the more that you do, the better that you're going to feel. You can split this out throughout the day. You can do multiple of them in the morning, at night, before bed, but try and tie them to something that you do every day. So for my clients, the clients who see the most success is those who tie them to either a morning routine or a nighttime routine, because every day we wake up and we brush our teeth, and then that's their cues to get down into a couple of these drills. Okay, so that's the first exercise. The next one is called your cross body stretch. So for this one, we're going to sit on our bum. We're going to lie back. As we're flat on the floor, let me turn my hat around. Most people will have this natural curve in the lower back. What I want you to do is try and rotate your hips and press. It's like you're pushing your belly button down to the floor and closing that gap out. Maintaining that posture, maintaining that stiffness, that tightness. You're then going to raise one leg up. Now this is an exercise that we do one side at a time. So I'm going to start with my right leg. As my right leg comes up, my right arm goes in the air, or you can put it flat down on the ground. Now the cue for your arm is, it's not necessarily your hand, but whatever way you choose to do, the main idea or the main thing that you want to do around this is driving your shoulder blades, so that my right shoulder, I'm trying to pack that down into the ground, maintain that connected, maintain that contact into the floor. And then I'm going to lift my knee up and I'm going to shimmy my hips around, and I'm going to bring this leg across my body. The opposite leg we still want to be straight out, and we're just applying a little bit of pressure, a wee bit of tension with our opposing arm while maintaining this connection down on this shoulder. And you can either play about with this, lifting the knee up high, and what you'll feel is this one kind of running right along your hamstring into your butt and then nicely into the lower back. This is the goat of all stretches that I find when I'm working with clients. And we just want to make sure that we're breathing in our belly, try to relax. Your body's going to want to maintain this stiff position because you're in an uncomfortable position, but just try and breathe in your belly, expand your belly out, lower it in, big deep breaths in. And then you're going to hold this one roughly about 20 seconds as a minimum. Some people go as long as a minute, but again, work out what feels comfortable for you. And once you've done one side, we're going to swap over to the other side. So bring that leg back across, give ourselves a wee second, and then we're going to swap to the other side. On the other side, what I'm going to show you here is rather than keeping your arm in the air and trying to pack the shoulder blade down, if you put your palm out to the side of your chest, that might make it easier for you to keep that shoulder pressed down into the ground. I'm going to shimmy my hips the other way, lift my knee up towards my chest, and bring my knee across as best as I can. And, oh, just cracked there, that feels good. And what you'll see here is I've got a lot more flexibility or range of motion in my right side than I do with my left. And this will be totally normal. Your dominant side most likely will be your tighter side, but every person is going to be different depending on the lifestyle that they have. But again, we don't want to drive and pull too much into it. If you find that bringing your knee up to here and that's as far as you can get over, again, work with what's most comfortable for you. If you watched the last video, we talked about that limiter. Imagine there's a 1 to 10. Don't go by a 6 or a 7 of like feeling or comfort, but it should be somewhat challenging. But as you breathe and sink into this, it gets a wee bit easier. So that is exercise number 2. Exercise number 3 is basically rocking our knees from side to side. I actually don't know the desired name for this. It's called so many different things in the mobility world, but I'll show you what it is. So I call it knee rocks in the program that I design for clients. Basically what you want to do is you want to bring both knees up in the air and clasp them together. So make sure your knees are making contact in, make sure your heels are clamped together. With your hands, kind of bring them out to the sides of your hip to stabilize yourself. Again, remember, anytime we're lying on our back, we're trying to eliminate that dead space in our lower back. So pressing our belly, rotating our pelvis, making sure that that's pressed down into the ground. Stabilize yourself with our hands, knees up to the chest, make sure our shoulders are pressed into the ground, our head is back, and then we're just going to slowly rock from side to side. So we're slowing this down. And what you'll find is your core has to activate. You'll feel your abs squeezing. It's totally normal to do. And as you get more comfortable with this, make the rocks that little bit more wider, like a pendulum, just going a wee bit wider and wider. But work within a range of motion that you've got control over. And again, you'll find that this is really hard to do. You may actually feel this in the abs more than anything. But again, usually a weak back or a sore and stiff lower back is a sign that your core is weaker. So this is a great intermediate or beginner exercise that you can do to start to strengthen your abs and your core. If you find that difficult, I'll throw in another one here. You might want to start with one leg out and just bringing your knee up towards your chest and just pulling that in, holding it for about 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, kick it out, swap to the other side, and again apply that little bit of pressure. 3, 2, 1. That would count as 1 rep. I would try and work up to about 6 to 10 reps with this. Do more if you can, but pick a rep range that you're going to stick with and try and focus on that over the next couple of days, and you'll see instantly you'll get a better feeling and your body will be moving better. So there you have it. That is my 3 favourite drills to do with anyone that has any lower back stiffness. There is a ton of exercises that you can do. So if those ones don't work for you, comment below this video and I can make more of these videos. But that is episode 2 on Mobility Mondays. If there's anything else you would like me to cover, let us know. Drop a wee comment. Follow us on Instagram at Coach Crosser, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, and if you haven't already checked out my previous video, click up here. This is a nice full body routine that everyone can do.